Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Nate Armbruster. I am on my sixth shot of espresso at the time of this recording. So if I don't know, we'll see what happens because that's the problem with having an espresso machine. We have an espresso machine, and it is one of my prized possessions. I'd say, like if I really had to, like if you told me right now, Nate, you got to get rid of everything you own, but you get to keep six things. Why six? I don't know. Probably because I just said I'm on my sixth shot of espresso. Because nobody starts with six. You know, it's usually divisible by five, whatever people say. But for the purpose of just going with it, yeah. If I had to pick six things, I'm going espresso machine is in that top six, I think. Like I could, let's see, what could I really now if we're talking, if the scenario now is you can only pick six things, but you also don't have to work anymore, then I don't need the internet or a laptop. I can get rid of all that. If I have to work, then I'll take the internet. And beyond that, I'm going, I think I'm going classic, furnace, hot water tank. Like this is my boring, this is how my brain works now. I think survival, I don't need anything fun. It's fun to me having heat and warm water. I'm getting so boring in my old age, and I'm not even old yet. So anyway, I hope everyone's doing well. The last week's been uneventful in a good way. A lot of Christmas festivities. One of my favorite things to do this time of year is I will watch a Christmas movie. That's as juvenile. I don't even know. It's the one acceptable like kids theme you could do as an adult and not be judged for, really. Like if I told you I, as a grown man, the other night sat down and watched Elf alone in my house, and you'd be like, yeah, that's okay, that's acceptable in the month of December, sure. You don't have kids, but you can watch that. Yeah, maybe it's like a little nostalgia. Maybe it's a movie you saw when you were a kid. So there's a lot of like reasons you can just be like, yeah, it's not insane, but if I told you I sat down as a grown man with no kids in my house and watched Bluey, no, yeah, you're calling the cops. I think that's why I like Christmas so much, because it's like, well, you know what, you can, it's all right to indulge in that nostalgia, and we're okay with it. Any other time of the year, though, people are like, suck it up, go to work. No time for fun, right? No dressing up. Here's the thing. Last weekend we went out. I was downtown, which we never go. We went downtown, Chicago, and I saw a guy dressed as Santa just walking down the street, and he was a good-looking Santa, And when I say good-looking, I don't mean attractive. I mean, like, this guy looked like he was straight out of a Coca-Cola ad. And I thought, man, does this guy he's got to be going somewhere, right? Or is he just walking around the city waving at people? Like, because, I mean, that's the other thing is like, who's going to stop that guy? Right? Who's going to go up to him and be like, you can't do that? That's insane. But that's also an acceptable behavior this time of year, as a grown man can dress up as Santa Claus, a fictional character, and pretend to be him to hopefully inspire some joy, maybe, in some people, maybe bring some joy to other people's lives. So maybe I'm the Grinch here, but I still think it's a little strange if you like to dress up as Santa, and especially if you're not getting paid. Mall Santa's also kind of questionable. However, you get paid, right? You got to get paid to do that. If you're not getting paid, you're twisted. I don't trust you. I don't think you should be anywhere near children, right? And I know if you celebrate Christmas, you got to take your kids to see Santa. But you go to the mall, and have you seen a mall lately? It's depressing. It's bleak, okay? And then you stand in line while the kids are paranoid because they hear kids screaming up ahead, right? They're like, what could possibly go wrong? And then you, as the parent, get to go, yeah, go sit on that strange man's lap. But it's Santa, so it's okay. And I get it. It's just, you got to do it. Because, like, I would do it. If I had kids, I would do it. And I wouldn't, I think I would enjoy it, but I wouldn't, I'd be like, why am I doing this? You just do, it's like people who get their kids baptized who don't go to church, you know? It's like, I mean, yeah, I get it. You kind of got to do it because, well, a million reasons, family, this, that. But like, I mean, what are we doing this for? You know? That's one of those things to me where it's like, this is the one time you're allowed to go sit on a strange man's lap and I'm going to take a photo of it and we're going to smile and have fun. Any other time, you scream. Okay, this is not the only time you can do this is when the guy's dressed as Santa and there's 1,000 people also there. And it's not, it's so strange to me. These things we do, but we do them. It's tradition, you know? And I don't mean to be such a Grinch because like I said, I like this stuff, but I do think it's strange that we do it, you know? And Grinch is another character that I'm like, yeah, I kind of get it. I don't, you know, I would love to go live in a mountain, you know, and not interact with most of the public. Also, there's no accountability for any of the who's, you know, any of them, like they're complete a-holes to the guy, you know. Of course, the guy left town, but we've been all in on the Christmas decor. And I say we, but let's be honest, my wife did 100% of the decorating because this is. First of all, we don't have that much stuff to put up. Okay, we have a relatively small tree. We don't have much space to work with. Now, she just decorates it. It took 10 minutes. What do you need my help for? You're not gonna like the way I do it. And I'm not being like I'm not trying to sound like a 90s stand-up comic where I'm like, my wife, you know, like, no, I mean, legit, she just has an eye for this stuff, okay? So I just kind of sit there and I go, I mean, I'll go downstairs and get the box. That's helping, right? So I go get the box with her and we bring it all upstairs and we open it up and she starts decorating. I'm like, okay, now it's like, I guess I can help put up the tree, but it's by the time I asked her, where do you want to start? It's already done. But I feel kind of like useless watching this. So I'm like, well, I should do something. You know, it's like too many cooks in the kitchen kind of thing. You ever try to cook with someone and you got a small kitchen? It's annoying. You're in the way. It's kind of like that. I'll just stay over here, but I'll look at them. Okay, I'll look at them every night when they're lit up. She does a nice job too, by the way. I would do so much worse. If I lived alone, I'd tell you this right now. Actually, and maybe this is an old hacky premise, but if I, as a fella, lived alone, I would never. I don't think I would decorate. I like to think I would, and I don't mean like, you know, like a bachelor pad type place. You know, I mean just literally. I don't think I would even have I might not even have a couch. Okay, I might have like the bed. I'd have the bed frame because that seems to be a standard. You know, mattress on the floor is a sign of guy in hard times. You know, but I would definitely have the frame. I gotta have that. That's just my own personal preference, right? But I wouldn't have anything up on the wall. We just hung up photos on the wall because my wife wanted to. And you know what? The whole time I was like, what are we doing? Why are we hanging up stuff? And you know what? She hung them up and they look great. I look at them every time I walk by. It's nice. We get the whole hallways set up. I tell you, if I lived alone, I would live in a dump. Or I would just never decorate, that's for sure. But the problem that comes with all of this is you got to clean it. You know, you got to dust. Now we have to dust all these picture frames every year. You know, there's chores now. I'm just lazy, I guess. But this is the holidays. You got to do it. Cuz the thing is, I never regret actually doing it. I loathe doing it. It's like everything else and literally everything. This is my attitude about everything. I'm such a curmudgeon. Everything in life. I'm like, why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do this? And then I do it, and I'm usually glad I did. And I go through this every year. But so I kind of force myself into the whole spirit of it, right? With I watch the movies. I don't get too much into the music. I'll never listen. I'll never throw it on. Just, you know, while I'm cooking or something. What am I doing? That seemed a little much to me. I don't know. That makes me more uncomfortable than like a guy alone in his house watching Elf. Seems less insane than just a guy alone listening to Christmas music. I don't know. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I don't need I'll throw on the movie in the background while I make dinner. You know what I mean? So now we got all these festivities coming up. We got the whole thing. We got the friends stuff, family stuff, the whole nine. And along with that comes because you got different groups of friends, right? You got like your childhood friends, your high school friends, your college friends. You got all the work friends. You got every little section. And if something comes up in each of them, all of a sudden you got a full calendar, and that's like I don't know. I can't do it all. My wife somehow does it. She went to I love when her like girlfriends want to get together. That's always nice because then there's like there's no need for me to go. You know what I mean? Like if she gets invited to something and she goes, all the guys are coming, and I'm like, well, I guess I'll go. It'll be fun. Or nope, it's just gonna be me and the girls. So you know what they do, and they've done this a couple years now. They do this thing called a cookie exchange. Okay, it's literally like you make a batch. I mean, actually, because it was a lot of people, so they made like batches of cookies. Everybody brings a cookie, and they did like a competition, not a competition, but like a kind of like a contest where like people voted on their favorites or whatever, and they raffled off a prize. I don't know. Seems fun, right? Well, the whole point is like everybody makes, let's say you invite 20 people, everybody makes enough for everybody to take home 4 or something. And so everybody made tons of cookies. And I'm not the healthiest guy. I'm not a guy who's going to eat. I usually don't go out of my way to eat sweets because I know it's a slippery slope for me, right? It's like saying a guy who used to do drugs can once in a while, try heroin. Okay. Like it's like that where like this, I can't do it. I don't buy the stuff. I don't keep it in the house. We rarely have it. But this cookie exchange was like, it set me back a whole week. Like it really did. It was the funniest. Well, it's not funny. It's kind of sad, really. She brought home containers of these cookies. And so, of course, now we go throughout the whole week and we just have these containers of cookies just sitting on the counter. And I'm so annoying about it. I'm like, we can't have this stuff in the house. It's a problem for me. I have no willpower. She does. She could sit across the room from one of these and not touch it for a week if I told her she shouldn't. Like just let's see who caves first. It's always me. Okay. So this isn't anything that ever crosses her mind, but the whole time I'm like, why do we have this here? I can't do this. And every time I walked by, I'm eating one. I swear to God, I'm trying to figure out if I even want to admit this, but I think I probably ate, I don't know if I ate 5 a day. I don't know what it was. It was a lot. I probably ate a case of butter. That's no joke. Really, if you really think about it, it was a low point for me. And here's the kicker. The whole week I'm like, shouldn't be eating these as I eat them. I'm that's the kind of fat guy I am, where I'm like, just shouldn't be doing this, but I'm doing it, So somehow that makes it okay that I'm doing it, where I'm like, nah, if I know I shouldn't be doing it, so I'm allowed to do it and then complain about it. And so at the end of the week, I'm like really reflecting on this, like if you saw me doing this, you would not be friends with me. You would judge so harshly. And at the end of the week, I'm reflecting on all of this, and I'm like sitting there like, man, I cannot believe I caved. Because like it's a psychological thing with me where like I'm like, I do this with other stuff too. Like if I buy vegetables, I'll be like, we gotta eat these vegetables, they're gonna go bad. I cannot bring myself to throwing food away. Especially food that I paid for, by the way. Like, that's the most infuriating thing. I'm like, we can't order out. We have to eat this other stuff. It's straight up the whole we got food at home thing, that your parents used to say, we got food at home. We don't need to stop anywhere. And, like, I totally get that. And that's, like, the guy I'm becoming. So we have these tins of cookies, and I'm like, well, we can't just throw these away. I mean, people made these. It's the spirit of Christmas. Like I got for the holiday, I got to eat these. I can't. We cannot have these just going to waste, And we got to eat them before they go bad. So I'm like, well, let's get to work. And it was like a contest to see how fast I could get rid of these. Like we can't have these in here. I better eat them. So now at the end of the week, I'm sitting there thinking about my decisions. It's kind of like if you got home from the bar drunk and you're trying to recap the night before, where you're like, what was I thinking? How did I act? Who was I talking to? What did I do? You try and retrace your steps. It was kind of like that, but with cookies for me, where I'm like, I can't believe all these tins were full at the beginning of this week. And you start to really like look at your life and you go, what am I doing? And I'm about to get in the shower and I'm like, I better weigh myself. I try to not do it a lot because it's too easy to get twisted up in a number, right? So I'm like, you know what? No, I have to do this. I have to see what damage I've done to my body. And you know what? I was down 3 pounds. Is that not like the most unbelievable thing ever? Because that's insane. How did I lose all this weight? I don't know. I have no idea. So I guess if you're trying to figure out how to lose some weight in the new year, I'm going to suggest starting with eating about 50 cookies. God, was it 50? It's a disgusting amount. And about, so yeah, I don't know if I had a few each day. God, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking about this before you have any more judgments, because there's no way I didn't just say all that without you guys going, what is wrong with this guy? Anyway, what else is going on? Comedy has been fun. I've been doing, this time of year, you get to do, sometimes you'll do a corporate event or a show for a company party or something. And a lot of comedians hate doing them, and they usually have a point. Because, okay, think about like your company's work party, right? Who wants to go, first of all? Nobody usually wants to be at these things. And if they bring their spouse or partner, they definitely don't want to be there because they don't care. They don't care about your job. I mean, they might care about the job, but they don't care about the inner workings of the office. They don't want to meet your coworkers, I mean, or maybe you do. Maybe they work at somewhere cool, and once in a while, that's what they're like, okay? But you got to think, oftentimes, they're kind of a pain in the ass for everyone involved. The employees don't want to be there. The comedian, that's why they usually pay so much better, is because it's like they're harder. You got to have more ability to get through it without it being a total disaster, okay? Because these are like, it's not a typical show. Sometimes there's like specific angles maybe they want you to talk a little bit about their industry. If I mean, if you offer that type of thing as a comic, like, yeah, I mean, I could write a couple jokes about sales. Sure, that's not necessarily the hard part, but relating it to the people in the room is what makes it memorable and fun for them. It's a completely different ball game, and I personally have fun with them. I don't know. And don't get me wrong, I've had really disastrous ones, where it's just not my night, not the right not the right environment, let's say, maybe not the best sound system, because you're also not working with like entertainment people, right? They're like sales, marketing, a bunch of nerds who don't know about like, oh, what would make the best show? Because like there's things that would make it better without really having to do anything. You just want to make sure you can hear me loud and clear, like a nice sound system, some decent lighting, maybe a stage if possible, just like certain things like that. And it's not a lot, but like little things can make all the difference. That's why I'm like, hey, if you book me for something like this, I'll do the whole thing. I'll do the whole production of it, right? Which isn't a lot. I say production, but it's like, yes, I have like a nice system I can set up that I trust, that I know works, because sometimes you show up to a venue, it's at an old VFW hall where they haven't updated the speakers since the 70s, and so the wireless mic dies, stuff like that. I hate that. It makes me look stupid. So I like to like set it all up myself, and I just do it on my own, right? So sometimes these can be really fun. And the most recent one I did for this is a travel agency, which I cannot believe still exists, Believe it or not, there's a need for this stuff still. And and I know this because they throw a really nice event. And I didn't really think about it until I got there, and I met the folks working there, who work for the company, and you start talking to them, and I'm like, of course you guys know how to throw a party, because this is fun. This everybody. First of all, it's like all type of sales, pretty much, right? And you're working with people who are going on vacation and trips and all this stuff, so they're in like a good mood, and it ended up being so much fun. And sometimes, like, usually I keep it like, okay, I'm gonna do the show and leave, because like there's, especially if it went well, which I thought so. I thought it went great. I got nice reviews from the owner, right? And I'm like riding this high. I'm like, this is great, And I had a good night. I set up all my stuff. I pack it all down at the end of the show, and everybody's like, hey, we're going to this. We're going to axe throwing after this. And I said, oh, is that right? And they invited me out. And normally I wouldn't go. Normally I would avoid any second locations with the group, because everybody's drinking at this point. And once you do the show, and people are like, oh, then they start talking to you about comedy, and then it's like, you just don't want to get involved with people's stuff. I don't want to talk. I don't want to say the wrong thing and like ruin this for me, because it was such a good night. I don't want to like upset anybody if we're getting loose and like chatting at the bar. Also, we're throwing axes, okay? And I cannot believe this activity is taken off in a way that there's entire businesses around it, okay? And this is why I'm like, this is like the one thing keeping me from going full on, like our country's like lost it, right? Because it's so easy to see things like, CEOs getting shot in the street and stuff like that. It's easy to see stuff like that and go, wow, this society is collapsing. School shootings, horrible, right? This is like all signs of horrible things. Like, just like we're kind of like losing it a little bit, right? And then I go to an axe throwing bar, and nobody got injured, okay? The fact that we can have an axe throwing bar serve folks alcohol as much as they want, really, no one's checking, and give them a sharp axe to throw at a wall. And the fact that I'm not seeing any reports that there have been any sort of mass assaults at axe throwing bars. Okay, so the fact that this is going to be my silver lining, right? Like maybe this is a nice thing that the fact that we can have these without serious injury or threat of violence, mixing alcohol and axe throwing, the fact that all of this can happen and exist without mass hysteria is, I'm going to take that as a win for the United States. Okay. I don't know where else in the world you can go. I'm sure there is somewhere. I'm not, don't ruin this. Don't ruin this for me. Okay. This is my highlight reel moment where I'm like, I took a step back, and I'm like, we're all just throwing axes. Everybody's drunk, and it's okay. Isn't that funny? Like, I cannot believe that. And the fact that this place is just open every day. Anybody can go in there, grab an axe, start really, and it doesn't happen. So if you want to take anything good away from this, think about that next time you're out and about. Like, wow, the fact that we can have that is kind of a nice thing. Maybe it's a sign that we still got it together. A little bit, just a little. I talk about my the building we live in a lot. We have, it's not big, but it's not small either. We got like 12 other units in this building, right? So it's medium-sized building here in the city, and it's like the neighbors have all been fantastic. We've been here for about a year and a half now, and I like it. I don't know. I like living here. The building's nice. We like it. It's not overly fancy, but it's not a dump. It's like it's just perfect for what we need. And the neighbors have all been fantastic so far, right? Knock on wood here. All right. Knock on wood, because, if you're lucky, especially living in a building where you're like, there's someone below you, above you, and next to you. So, you share walls, and maybe someone gets a little loud or something, but it's really rare in this building, which is kind of nice. And I don't know if that's because it's just soundproof or if people are just respectful or what. I will say we are the youngest, I think, by a decade. So that's probably helpful. Our next door neighbors are in their 90s. So I'm hoping they live at least until we move because that's a nice, quiet, calm neighbor to have, right? And the folks below us, I've talked about them before. They're sweet, and it's like a young mom and like two kids, well, teenagers. I think I don't know. It doesn't matter, but this is how I know. Like this is the thing is like people are nice in passing. The only time I encounter anybody in this building is when I'm going in or out, going down to the car, back upstairs, getting on the elevator, exiting, entering the building. And every time it's a pleasant, like little, hey, how's it going? Hey, nice to see you. Hey, did you see this? What's going on? How about those lions? Because I wear the lion stuff. And that's another thing. I'll get to that in a second. But everybody's super nice. And what I'm trying to get to is the neighbors below us, so sweet. I'm coming in with the dog the other night, and we had just gotten back from Thanksgiving, so we were gone for a while. And when someone's gone because their car is missing from the garage, okay? So our car, we were gone for like a week. And I'm taking the dog in, and I hear someone coming down the stairs, and it's the neighbor below us. And she goes, hey, I've been meaning to talk to you. And she was like excited, okay? And that's all fine. But I didn't know how to react. I thought like she was going to say, hey, you guys are like vacuuming too much or something. I was like worried that she had a complaint, but she goes, no, I've been waiting for you to get back because, we made a tomahawk steak the other night and we kept the bone. And I was like, okay, okay. She goes, I thought your dog might like it. And I was like, what? And I thought that was an oddly amazing gesture that she would think about my dog, and I was like, all right, yeah, I mean, I just said yes, like I'll take it because I felt rude, but also I'm curious, but also I'm like, is that strange? Like, I'm like, did you freeze it? And she goes, yeah, it's in the freezer. And I go, okay, well, text me and I'll come down and get it whenever you're ready or whatever. And I still haven't gotten it, but I feel like now I'm in this point where like I gotta take it, and I gotta see how he's gonna handle it and if it's even safe. First of all, because he's huge. I don't know, but those bones are humongous, right? And I'm like, they won't hurt him. So I gotta figure out if it's like a safe thing to do, but also I kind of have to take it now because I already told her I'd take it and it's frozen. And I feel like it's going to be one of those things where if it's not, maybe I just won't ever give it to him. I just throw it right in the trash. I don't know. So strange. Such a strange, like, and the thing is, they don't like talk to us that much, but she was so jacked. She was like, hey, I can't believe if you're finally back in town, I've been freezing this tomahawk bone for you. I'm like, okay. So I'll let you know how that goes. If it even happens, we'll see. Also, so getting back to the Lions sweatshirt. So the Lions, if you're at all following some sports, football, whatever, are having like the best, the best season in the history of the team, really. I mean, if you're a Detroit Lions fan, this is the best year of your life. However, it's kind of getting down to hard times here. A lot of injuries, kind of falling apart a little bit now, but we're still in great shape, but a lot of injuries. And it's like one of these things where like, I think I've mentioned this before. I'm a football fan. I like the Lions. There's a lot of like, hey, I'm from Michigan. I got this like tie to this team that it might even just be like, it's kind of like a where I'm from kind of thing, but I like it and I follow it and all this stuff, but I'm not 24/7. All I talk about are sports and football and like I can't do it. I don't have the mental capacity to devote to it. There's not enough room in my brain for anything else. I can't, like, there's so much other stuff I have to do. I can't justify like this is all I think and breathe and talk about, So that creates for like this storm of like, I can't really hold a conversation. Like I could talk for a couple minutes about it, but otherwise I'm like, I don't have like this expert analysis most people want from me, like I went, so I used to go, I would wear this like Lions winter hat that it's like a nice warm hat, right? And I would wear it all the time. I'd wear it to the store or whatever. I would walk up to the store. Now I live in Chicago. There's plenty of folks from Michigan who live here, so it's not out of this world that someone might go, hey, how about those Lions, So, but at the time, it was still when we were like losing, and it was always kind of a bummer. And I would wear this hat And people come up to me at the store, hey, how about that game Sunday? Oh, rough lot, and then they start asking me about the coach. And this was 2 coaches ago. And it was like, it was never like a pleasant, it was just like, dude, I'm just trying to get my groceries. I don't want to talk about this with you. And so I learned quickly, like, if I put this on, I got to be prepared to have a conversation about it, and sometimes I just forget. And, I normally don't wear this out of the house anymore. Like I have this Lions sweatshirt that's like, it's my favorite thing to wear. And I wear it on a game day, and it's fun. It's my way of participating, and that's it. But if I wear it out into public, sure enough, everyone goes, hey, big game today. And then, of course, that game they lost the second or third game of the season. And it's like, now I have to have this like expert analysis of why coaching decisions and all this other stuff that I don't really care about. I'm just trying to get my groceries and get out of here. And all of a sudden I'm on a sports radio or something, Anyway, that's my just a little aside, because I just can't do it. I wear plain clothes now everywhere. No logos, no nothing. I don't want any questions about anything. It gives people a chance to go, hey, are you from Michigan? And I'm like, God, yes, a lot of people are. What? Why are you asking me this? I'm just trying to shop for my groceries. I'm such a Grinch. Getting back to this. Sorry if it just sounds like I'm unraveling at this point. I kind of am, but I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I hope it got something out of you, a laugh, entertainment, whatever. Wherever you're driving or however you're listening to this, if you're driving, that makes sense. Walking, all right, that too. I don't know. If you're at the gym right now listening to this, you're insane. Thank you, but you're insane, because I should also be at the gym. That's probably what I'm getting at. Now, if you enjoyed the show, please hit subscribe. Listen to this podcast every week. I'm back in the saddle. We're doing this on the regular, getting ready for Christmas. Next time you hear me, it'll be the infamous week between Christmas and New Year's, so it'll be that lovely taint of the calendar. Okay, so enjoy your week off. I hope you're not working. Don't work. Tell them I said you don't have to work today. How about that? Tell your boss this podcast, this very obscure, random podcast hosted by a comedian no one has heard of, told me that I don't have to go to work today. And consider that my gift to you. Merry Christmas. Okay. And thanks for listening. Hit that subscribe button, like I said. And if you joined my email list, I'll let you know when I'm performing in a town near you, and whenever I got something else worth emailing you about. So thanks for listening, and we'll be back next week with another episode.